Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is the big man Boisterous come to you with some Diamond League destruction out of the Tal'Darim altar. Down here in the bottom left hand corner we have Zennith spawning in as the blue Zerg, and up here in the top right we have his opponent VPtit spawning in as the red Protoss. As this game starts off, I would just like to kind of apologize for the 6-minute video on Monday. I know, I expect more from myself. That was really short. Really short. In the future, I will release Minigame Madness with other videos. That was just a very last-minute thing because I had other stuff going on that day. So I kind of just had to crank out a video really fast, and 6 minutes and under was basically all the time I had to render, because 6 minutes is like 30 minutes of actual rendering time. But anyway, going back to this game, we have both players going for very standard builds for this map. We have the pylon down in perfect position for the Forge Fast Expand or the Gateway Fast Expand. On this map, I actually prefer the Gateway Fast Expand with the Forge added on later. So instead of going like Forge Gateway Cybercore, you go Gateway Cybercore Forge. This allows you to get sentries out very fast, and sentries on this map can be quite powerful if you use them right, especially against the Zerg army. It does look like he's going to be going for the Forge first. However, I'm just going to really quickly explain why I personally enjoy sentries on this map. The fact is that the only way that a Zerg is going to bust down a wall, as long as you solid wall it off, is if he Baneling rushes or Roach rushes you, both of which are pretty easily counterable with a very fast Stalker Sentry kind of combination of an army. Just because you can Sentry off all your buildings so that, they don't get Baneling busted, or you can Sentry his army in half, or Force Field his army in half, or just do a whole ton of other stuff to Roaches that allow you to really take control of early game situations. We do have Zennith looking like he wants to go for a fast expand, but he's actually going to be dropping a queen first, so we're going to have the Nexus up amazingly faster than the Zerg hatchery. I'm surprised that we didn't see the Zerg go for a really fast hatchery play, because just going over to his, actually he never scouted, well he kind of scouted. It's kind of surprising. Typically I like to see Zerg scout on this map at like 12 minutes, because this map can be, the game is extremely straightforward, it's extremely easy. You both go into macro mode right off the bat, or you can get cheesed your mind out of it. And even if you go for that kind of really safe spawning pool fast build, then you allow this to happen, and you allow the Protoss to get a really fast lead, to be honest. Because just allowing this Forge Fast Expand to get off either unpunished or without you instantly reciprocating it. And it looks like he kind of knew what was going on, because he hadn't seen any units out on the field. He hadn't really seen anything wandering around the map. And Protoss players are usually good at keeping their units active because they just have so few of them. But we do have the Zerglings going for an attack on this destructible rock, so it looks like the Zerg's going to be going into a fast double expand type of play. We do have the Protoss player finally finishing up his gateway at 4 minutes. So again, if you went Sentry FE, and by Sentry FE you mean a really fast Sentry FE, you basically need to go gateway into Cybercore before you can drop your Nexus. So it's basically very fast tech with an extremely fast and safe Nexus off of that. Not quite as safe as a Forge FE, but then again, the Zerg player, I'm surprised that he didn't see that wall, just cancel his hatchery and go Banelings, because that's what I would do. Because Banelings will bust through these walls quite easily, and if it's a Forge Fast Expand and the gateway isn't even up yet, you could have a very good chance of just taking the game through the use of Banelings, because either the Protoss player will have to drop 19 extra buildings behind this to create a solid wall off, or he's just going to let the Banelings get through his Forge, and essentially he's going to lose the game. We do have very fast upgrades coming out for our Protoss player, which is to be expected from Protoss players just in general, especially if they go for a Forge Fast Expand, because on the Protoss army, just in general, these upgrades are quite fantastic, especially if you get armor. I'm surprised he's not going for armor, considering the fact that he's facing off against the Zerg. And I think in general, against Zerg players, although +1 melee is amazingly important on Zealots because it allows them to two-shot Zerglings, I do prefer ground armor. Just just out of personal preference, really, because ground armor allows all of these Zerglings to do 1 less damage. So instead of your two units doing, you know, +1 damage, his 7 units are doing -1 damage. And I think that's a better way to spend your money, rather than to go for that the ability to 2-shot Zerglings, excuse me. We do have the Zealot going down. I mean, you know, he was severely outnumbered there, really, and this Stalker is definitely going to be running for his life back to base. But there's a photon cannon there, so I think he's going to get there and be perfectly fine. And if he's really good at this, he's going to like force field the Stalker into this corner right here. And actually, he is running to the corner, so let's see if he goes for the force field. Not quite. Actually, you know, some pretty nice micro on that Stalker, allowing him to stay alive with very, very high health relatively. I mean, that was pretty much a Protoss favorite trade. He traded, I think that was 7 to 8 links, 7 to 8 lings for 1 Zealot. So I mean, it's not that big of a trade, but any upper hand you can get, you are certainly welcome to. So we do have the Zerglings marching across the screen right now. These Zerglings, this is actually quite a bit of Zerglings for this early in the game. Typically you see Zerg just go for amazingly heavy droning up, especially if they go for such fast expand plays, like just keep droning, keep droning, and drop 4 or 5 spine crawlers at like this front, and like maybe just creep out and then spread them over here, and then drop like 2 behind this expansion, and maybe keep a reserve stock of lings just spread around the map, making sure that you have these 2 Xel'Naga towers found, so that whenever your opponent moves out, you know exactly where he's going and when he's going there. And this just hunter-killer pack of lings, I guess, they're just going to be running around and trying to pick off whatever they can whenever they see anything move out onto the map. But really, at this point, if the Protoss wants to move out, he's going to move out slowly and with his entire army. And this amount of lings is insignificant against the Protoss army. So I think he should really just cut ling production and go for even a 4th base and just drone, because right now I'm guessing he has an amazing amount of, actually he doesn't, he has 54 drones. Typically you see a lot of people go up to like 80 to 90 drones, and that's a very high drone count, but you can definitely do it. And he's going for Overseer cocoons right now, so he is going to have amazingly fast units. He's going to be able to scout these out quite easily. He does see that the 3rd is going up, or well, the preparations for the 3rd is going up. There's basically 3 pylons on the ground, the destructible rocks getting destroyed. That doesn't leave that much question in the mind of the Zerg player of what's going to be happening next. We do actually have 40 Ts advancing across the map, preparing to just absolutely slice and dice some excuse me, just preparing to slice and dice some drones up. And the Spore Crawler over here is injured, so I'm guessing some DTs got in here and did some damage just a bit earlier, and the Spore Crawler does go down. Ooh, that's pretty nasty for the Zerg player. The hatchery is easily going to go down. Just there's going to be absolutely no problem there. I mean, all these DTs are essentially dead at this point. However, they had a very valiant life, and if they really want to get their money's worth, oh, they do manage to get the Queen on the last swipe of the Grim Reaper DT. You know, he finally got it. Just by the way, I've noticed that a lot of the DTs that live to the end are the ones with like the scythes, so just pointing it out there. You know, whenever I see a DT engagement, it's usually the one with the scythe that lives to the end, and I just find that funny all the time, because they usually get like a 1 last kill with the last hit, and it's just the Grim Reaper DT, just, you know, rocking and rolling out. It looks like all these drones are long-range mining at this point. Not the most efficient train of drones, although it looks kind of impressive on the map. You just have this giant like line of blue marching back and forth. We do have the massive army from the Zerg player, not really massive, moving out, but it is going to not do any damage to this unless you want significant losses. This is a complete wall off, and it's a complete and pretty strong wall off too. I mean, it's 3 cannons, so even if he can destroy the cannons, he's going to take significant losses doing it. And there's also a very big sentry zealot, just gateway ball plus immortals at the back, so I think this is not wise. Actually, this pylon goes down. That is Oh, there's another pylon back here. Never mind, never mind. The Protoss player is perfectly fine. He's going to have no issues here. In fact, all of these roaches' lives are essentially forfeit at this point. As this Immortal will get in and start shooting away, and really Immortals will just absolutely crush roaches. And as these roaches dip in and they get out of there, run, sir, run. There's no way you want to engage back into there, because if you run back into there, all these sentries will force field all of your units and they will be gone. So he does essentially no damage with that attack. He tried to take out some photon cannons. He got 2 of them, and he unpowered one of them, so he did get kill off some pylons. I mean, the Protoss was nowhere near food blocked anyway. I mean, the Protoss has been dropping pylons all over the place all game long, so he has 166 food. Getting 1 or 2 pylons sniped is not going to affect that at all. He also did absolutely no economic damage for the entire game, and it's just not the greatest position for the Zerg. He does have this amazingly big, he has this fairly big Mutalisk flock, and it's moving out, but the Observer is tracing it. Anyway, as we follow this Mutalisk flock as they progress across the map, I would just like to tell you all that you can head on over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2, and you can send any games that you want commentated into boisteroussc2@gmail.com, because I'm about to be moving into part 2 of this game, as this Mutalisk flock does swoop in and tries to do their best, but the Blink Stalkers are there to deflect them, and as they're forced to back off, I think I'm going to go into part 2. So see you guys in a second.